A scientist once documented a golden retriever who would sit at the front window every afternoon at the same hour, ears up, tail slowly wagging, waiting for someone who had passed away 3 months earlier. The dog had no way of knowing, and what was happening inside that animal, the actual neuroscience of it, will change the way you look at your dog before tonight is over. If you genuinely care about your dog's inner life, hit subscribe. Every week we break down the real psychology driving your dog's behavior. Now, let's get into it. Here's something most people never confront. You can love your dog completely and still not understand them. And that gap between loving and truly understanding is where a lot of quiet damage gets done. Today, we're covering 5 things rooted in actual canine behavioral science that are hurting your dog emotionally. Not because you're careless, because nobody told you. And when you hear some of these, you'll recognize yourself immediately. 1. Leaving them alone. Too long. Let's start with the one that does the deepest harm. Dogs did not evolve for solitude. In their natural state, a dog separated from its group isn't just uncomfortable, it's in danger. So when your dog spends hour after hour alone in a quiet house, what builds inside them isn't simple boredom. It's closer to crisis. Prolo-canine stress research shows that dogs in NG-ed isolation produce cortisol patterns that mirror grief responses, not mild unease, but genuine emotional distress. Your dog can't rationalize your absence. All they know is that the beings who make life feel safe have disappeared with no warning. And the hardest part? Many dogs don't make noise about it. They simply go inward, sleep more, play less, greet you with eyes that are a little more flat each time. Most owners call this the dog settling down with age. What it often is a slow withdrawal from emotional life. If long hours alone are unavoidable, leave behind clothing with your scent. Use enrichment toys to occupy their mind, and build a consistent routine around your departure. When you return, let the reunion mean something. To you, it's Tuesday evening. To your dog, it's everything. 2. Emotional shutdown when you're present. The second thing doesn't require you to be away. It happens when you're right there in the room. Picture a hard day. You walk in carrying the weight of it. Tense, distracted, not really present. You move past your dog without a glance, drop onto the couch, disappear into your phone. Your dog crosses the room and presses their nose against your hand. You don't respond. To you, this is just a rough evening. To your dog, this is a signal they've done something wrong. Research confirms that dogs process human emotional cues using the same left hemisphere brain systems humans use for social recognition. They are actively reading you, your posture, your breathing, whether your eyes are warm or vacant. When those signals go cold, a dog's default interpretation is self-blame. When that pattern repeats, some dogs become anxious and hyper-attached. Others gradually stop initiating contact because every attempt has led to confusion. You don't have to manufacture happiness you don't feel. But a few quiet words, a hand resting on their side for a moment, tells your dog the world is still okay. It takes almost nothing from you. For them, it's the difference between feeling secure and feeling lost. 3. Yelling or using a harsh tone. Number 3. And this is the one that makes people defensive, because nearly all of us have done it. There's a common misconception that raising your voice signals authority. In canine psychology, it sends a completely different message: unpredictability. And unpredictability coming from a trusted person is one of the most destabilizing experiences a dog can have. The moment a dog hears sudden, sharp yelling, cortisol surges, heart rate climbs, and the body activates a threat response. Do this repeatedly, and the nervous system begins to rewire. The dog starts living on constant low-grade alert. Some become anxious and skittish. Some become guarded and withdrawn. What actually shapes behavior in a lasting, healthy way is calm consistency. A steady voice communicates far more leadership than a loud one. Positive reinforcement builds behavior because it builds trust. Fear builds behavior too, but it builds a dog who listens because they're scared, not because they love you, and you will feel that difference every single day. 4. Rushing walks or treating them like an obligation. We're halfway through, and this next one might be the most underestimated thing on this entire list. From your perspective, the morning walk is 15 minutes before work, a task to get through. From your dog's perspective, it's the most mentally rich experience in their entire day. A dog's nose contains over 200 million scent receptors. Ours have roughly 5 5 million. When your dog stops and refuses to move for 40 seconds, they are not stalling. They are reading a detailed, layered story about every animal that passed through. It is information processing at a level we can barely imagine. Sniffing also has a direct calming effect on the canine nervous system. A 10-minute walk with free sniffing does more to regulate your dog's stress than a 30-minute fast-paced walk where they were constantly pulled forward. Every time you yank the leash before they're done, you're interrupting something genuinely satisfying. Over time, walks stop feeling like freedom and start feeling like being rushed through the one thing they actually look forward to. That frustration comes home with them and shows up as restlessness and behavioral issues that seem to appear from nowhere. Slow down. Let them sniff. Let them lead sometimes. A walk where your dog gets to actually experience the world is worth more than the extra 5 minutes it costs you. 5. Not letting your dog be who they actually are. This is what canine psychologists identify as the hidden root beneath most behavioral problems, and it's almost never named directly. Every dog is a distinct individual neurologically. Some need stimulation and challenge. Others need calm and quiet. Some are wired to be social. Others are happiest pressed against your side with the world shut out. The problem is, owners often carry a mental image of what their dog should be. When the real dog doesn't match it, the response is correction. The anxious dog gets pushed into crowded dog parks. The deeply bonded dog gets labeled too clingy and pushed away. The independent dog gets smothered in affection they never wanted. When a dog is repeatedly blocked from expressing what it fundamentally is, behavioral problems follow. Not because something is wrong with the dog, because the dog is living in a sustained state of being misunderstood, and every attempt to be itself has been met with rejection. The fix isn't complicated, but it requires honesty. Watch your dog. Study what genuinely lights them up. Build the relationship around who they actually are. When you make that shift, the response is almost immediate. They relax, trust more easily, and become more present because, for the first time, being present actually feels safe. Final advice. Here's what matters about everything we just covered. None of this comes from cruelty. Every single one of these patterns comes from simply not knowing what life feels like on the other side of that leash. Dogs feel love. They feel loneliness. They feel confusion, relief, and joy in ways that are measurable and real. The more fluent you become in their emotional language, the more that bond becomes something extraordinary. Take one thing from this, just one. Walk slower tomorrow. Use a softer voice tonight. Look your dog in the eyes and actually be there. They are already paying attention to you. They already want this to work. You don't have to do much to meet them where they are. This is where dog psychology meets genuine care. We'll see you next week.